Alright, I'm hopefully going to show you guys a very happy cat. I have, there she is. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can actually get some out of this thing. Here we go. Here, up here, Bessie. No, come back. Bessie, come on. Come on. Few more. There we go. Get her nice and close. Bessie, wait! I have one more. Come on, one more. There you go. Okay. Alright, that's enough. Alright, hey guys, so, this is a Friday Reads and also sort of an update, a general update. Bessie may be pestering me throughout this since the bag of treats is right there, but anyway, I want to periodically do sort of Friday Reads like this that are also kind of update videos on, everything going on in the world. So anyway, I just want to start by saying that, I'm still doing fine. I'm, not, certainly physically I'm not sick. My semester is almost over. In theory, I only have, in theory, next week is finals week, but I don't have any finals. The only obligation that I have left for my semester is one final project for a class, which I'm struggling to get the analysis to run, in the statistical software I'm using. But once I do get that to run, which I should be able to do with the professor's help, once that runs, then the write-up will be a work of an hour or two, and then I can just submit it, and that'll be done. So I'll do that, throughout next week. I've worked on it a lot today already, and I'm incredibly over it. And then I'll basically be done, and May is essentially the one vacation month that I'm allowing myself. So I will have a couple of research projects that my advisor will probably be emailing me about, to just work out some things. We're trying to get some publications submitted, one revision submitted on one paper, which should happen soon, and then another one submitted. And so he'll probably be emailing me throughout May, but that's not a big bother. I enjoy doing that, for one thing, working on my research projects and the manuscripts, but for another thing, it's not like a huge investment of time, honestly, at least for me. Writing comes easily to me, and revisions come easily to me, so, and the rest of it is just a matter of doing some analyses and whatnot. So, basically starting, well, today, in a sense, I'm on vacation, aside from, the one project I have to finish. I am sort of, I would say, starting to feel a little bit of the effects of being isolated for so long, just feeling antsy and not loving being in my apartment every day, and probably sort of starting to feel a little bit of, like, doldrums, which I think is signified by the fact that I've barely actually left my bed this week. Even when I've done work, I've done it sitting on my bed, which I know is really bad, but I think it's just a sign that this is starting to get to me. But I will force myself out of my bed from now on. But anyway, and next week my immediate family has something really nice planned. So next weekend, of May 9th and May 10th, is both my dad's birthday on May 9th and Mother's Day on May 10th. And so the four of us, my parents and my brother and myself, are gonna all Zoom together and watch a movie on my dad's birthday, the 9th, and a movie on Mother's Day. And we're just gonna all sit together and watch a movie together, and we'll each be eating ice cream and consuming some form of alcohol. So we'll have our little our little get-together, and we'll get to see each other's faces and talk a little bit. I do talk to my mom on the phone once or twice a week, just because we're both isolated and both feeling this event, and that's good. So anyway, that's just my update. So things are pretty well. I have been a little bit stressed this week, just in terms of getting things sorted with one of the projects that I'm trying to submit revisions of, that my advisor and I are working on. The revisions are just driving me nuts. It's like one of those things where you'll work on it, you'll work on it, you'll work on it, you'll think you're done, and then all of a sudden there's one more thing, and then all of a sudden you finish that, and there's one more thing, and so it just feels endless, and there's always like one little thing that's like 6 degrees off, and that means you have to do the whole thing over again. Drives me insane, but I think we're almost there. So anyway, that's my life. I'm looking forward to a weekend of mostly reading and watching Adam over at Memento Mori's live stream. I've been doing that every weekend. Maybe watch a movie this weekend as well too. But yeah, mostly reading. I've been reading a lot lately. I've just been really liking the books I've been reading, and I have a lot of books to go through. There's the cat one more time trying to get at the bag of treats. I have a lot of books to go through, but I'm not going to go through a lot of them in that much detail. Well, some of them I'll go a little bit into, but so the 3 books for the BookTube prize that I have now finished, that I know I mentioned several several weeks ago in a Friday Reads, was Say Nothing, a true story of murder and memory in Northern Ireland. So I finished that. I actually really kind of binge read that one. And we have The Yellow House by Sarah Broom, which is a memoir about Sarah Broom's family living in New Orleans East, which is this part of New Orleans that's kind of poor and suburban and not really often. It's often passed over. Often it doesn't even appear on maps of New Orleans. And she grew up in this area, and the Yellow House is the house that she grew up in, her mother's house, which she called her mother's 13th child. She had Sarah Broom had 11 siblings, and this is sort of a memoir of that family and herself in the latter parts, and of the house itself, and quite a bit about New Orleans East and its history. So that's that, and then finally, I finished Maid. Hard Work, Low Pay, and a Mother's Will to Survive, which is a memoir of Stephanie Land's time living as a single mother on welfare, and just her experiences, living in poverty, working as a maid, as a single mother, and the sort of stigma she faced, and both for being on welfare and for being a single mother, and for the job she held, and how tough that was. And so I have finished that, but you won't be hearing my evaluations of them for quite some time to come. So the first 3 books in the BookTube prize, I really kind of just plowed right through really quickly within the span of like a week and a half. I tend to start off projects like reading for the BookTube prize with a lot of vigor, and tend to get a lot done early on, and then I tend to slowly sort of wither away until my motivation. By the time I'm like 95% of the way through something, I tend to just be just about ready to give up and stop early, even though there's only 5% more to go, which is kind of what is happening with that project I had mentioned earlier. But the books and the BookTube prize that I'm chipping away at now is Invisible Women, Data Bias in a World Designed for Men by Caroline Criado Perez. And yeah, I'm 120 or so pages in. Hope I can finish it in the next few days or so. It's not a hard read. It's not hard to read. It's written very sort of journalistically. And then another one that I've just barely gotten into so far is Know My Name by Chanel Miller, which is, I haven't read enough of it to have many impressions of it, but so that will presumably be my next read for the BookTube prize anyway. Alright, moving on to 2 books that I finished recently. We have The 12 Caesars by Suetonius, which I did a video about, and I absolutely loved it. If you think that this is some sort of dusty, boring work of history from the ancient world, it absolutely isn't. It is just full of these delightful, colorful anecdotes that range from hilarious to sort of morbidly fascinating. You just learn all sorts of weird stuff about the private lives of the rulers of Rome, and it's just super, super interesting. I'll leave a link to the video I made about it, if you want to hear more about this one, but yeah, I definitely recommend that one. And then I also finished Death Comes for the Archbishop by Willa Cather, and what's funny about this one is that it was a book I picked for Maybe Midrash, a May readathon of that's hosted by Jason from Chapter and Verse and Felicia from the Little Prairie Library and Steve Donahue, of books that engage with religion seriously. So to participate, you read one fiction, one nonfiction, and this was my fiction pick, and I finished it on like April 30th. So I sort of posted a jokey Facebook status where I was like, it might be a little bit of an awkward, I was like, it's kind of awkward when you finish a book you picked for a May readathon on April 30th, right? But I thought that this was beautiful. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I think that there were a lot of religious themes that were sort of woven into the story really nicely, and that those themes really produced a lot of thoughts for me personally, and so I think I will hopefully do a video about this one. I'll work on getting my thoughts together and doing a video. Um, but yeah, I definitely really, really like this. By the way, I am holding the bag of treats out off into the air just to keep Bessie from getting to it. You guys are getting a lot of Bessie today. Okay, let's give her one more. There we go. Here. Okay. Okay. These last books are going to go quickly because I'm only a little bit into each of them. But first off are my two nonfiction books that I picked for maybe Midrash. We have God, a Biography by Jack Miles, and a History of God by Karen Armstrong. And I think that I might do a dual discussion video about both of these and see how that goes, because they do kind of complement each other really nicely. But yeah, I'm liking both of them are excellent so far. So yeah. Then I have also just begun to read. I'm on a bit of a kick with the classics of ancient Rome, so I started to read The War with Hannibal by Livy. And yeah, this is obviously his account of the Second Punic War between Rome and Carthage, and I'm just reading 10 pages a day, taking it very, very slowly, because I have all this other reading to get to. I figure that I can just read this one slowly, and as this other reading sort of is finished and some of these other books get out of the way, then perhaps at some point I will just binge read through, wherever I happen to be in this at the time where I can just focus on it exclusively after having read only 10 pages a day of it. Up to that point, I will just binge whatever I have left, because I am really enjoying it so far. Yeah, it's good. It does read like sort of historical fiction, honestly, because like there's dialogue and people show emotions and all this stuff. And yeah, I'm liking it so far. And then a buddy read. A buddy read of 1491, New Revelations of the Americas Before Columbus by Charles Mann. And this is a buddy read with Patrice Jones, the serial buddy reader, and also with Peg from over at the History Shelf. And yeah, we're just going to be chatting after each chapter, and looking forward to it. I've only read like 5 pages of this, so I don't have many impressions so far. And then keeping with the classics of Greece and Rome thing, I'm reading from this anthology, Latin Poetry, inverse translation, edited by L.R. Lind. I've been revisiting a lot of Catullus. I love Catullus. And I've also been trying to read more Propertius. And with some mixed success, I'm so far a huge fan of Propertius, but I always just tell myself with these Latin poets that it's probably due to the translation. But we will see. I will read more Propertius, and we will see. But I love Catullus. I'm already a big Catullus fan, so that's a pleasure. And then something else I might start to do, I don't know about this, but maybe I'll start this weekend. I've been considering rereading from the Bible. I've been considering rereading the books of Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Jeremiah, because Karen Armstrong had a rather long sequence in A History of God where she talked about those 3 books in some depth, and it got me interested in rereading them, because it's been a long, long time since I read those 3, and when I did read them, I don't really think I read them all that closely. So I might do that, but no guarantees. So, anyway, a big reading update, a life update, and a lot of cat. So I hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you have thoughts on any of these books. Let me know how you're doing. I hope you're all doing okay. And let me know how or what you're reading and what you're planning to do this weekend. And let me know what you're doing this weekend aside from reading. Are you listening to music? Are you watching movies or watching plays or operas or such? I do plan. Oh, I forgot to mention this. I do plan to participate in Moliere in May, which is hosted by Fariba over at the Francophile Reader, where you read plays by Moliere in May. And this weekend is a play that I can't remember, but I plan to find either an audiobook or a production and experience it that way. But anyway, let me know how you're all doing, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.